natural disasters is something that triggers you in a way, I suggest not watching this video because what happened in my dream was a natural disaster that I'd never seen before. And it was a bit traumatizing. It was when I woke up from it, even while it happened for sure. I never knew I had cat-like reflexes in my dream, but I do. I really do. I gotta get a smoke before I tell this one because it's got my nerves, like, honestly. I'm trying to keep it subconsciously, trying to act like I didn't see what I seen. And every time I start thinking about it, I just start, like, trembling just a little slightly. Really. It's weird. One thing's for sure. This needs to be made into a movie for the horror genre. Dream starts off with, let's see, let me think for a second. Because I don't want to give anyone's, I don't want to make anyone feel bad for this, but still, it's the truth. So, let me explain this before I tell you my dream. So the beginning makes more sense because the beginning doesn't make no sense unless you understand my point of view. My point of view is this. In real life, not in dream world, but in real life, like when I was younger, I used to be the type of person that would find enjoyment in helping others with whatever they have to do, I just loved to help out where I could, as much as I could. Now, my family, there wasn't many people like that in it. In fact, they were quite opposite. They were kind of people that would find enjoyment out trying to get others to do their work for them so they didn't have to do it. So, think about that. Me wanting to help and be helpful, just for myself, and in the long run, at the end of it, at the end of the day, I didn't do it for them. I did it for myself to feel good about it. I care less what they thought. But when it comes down to it, what they were thinking was like, oh, this is easy. It really wasn't right. That's why today, you don't really see much of my family around. They're not like nothing happened to them, but I'm just saying I don't go around them. I try to avoid them, honestly, just to stay happier, because that's a new thing that makes me happy. Right now my body, I can't, like, I'm not, when I was younger my body was closer to being normal. As I get older, it becomes a lot worse. So I can't, be as helpful as I was when I was young. But for sure, I can't be around them because they would break my body thinking like I would still be the same. And of course, I might end up slipping and falling back into that same old routine. So I can't really hang out with my family when it comes down to it. I can see them from time to time, but to stay a night with them, it's a very risky move for me because I know we're exact opposites when it comes down to it. We might have the same blood, but we definitely don't have the same kind of, I don't want to call it motivation, beliefs. We don't, I guess, yeah, we really don't have the same kind of beliefs. We never did. And then there's some people in the family that made their beliefs into like what my beliefs were when I was younger. They ain't like that anymore. So, I guess we'll never be on the same page when it comes down to it. And that's just, that might not work out for them because they lost a worker in the long run, They lost let's be honest, a slave. I was a slave to them. And, they might not like it. But personally, I enjoy life now. I really do. I really do. I enjoy this time of not having them in it when it comes down to it. The more time I get to be with myself, the better it is, the happier I become. Now with that in mind, let's start the dream story that I had last night. Alright, so I woke up, in my dream I woke up, and I realized I was over at one of my family members' house. I don't want to say which kind of family member because they'll know who it is, and I don't want them to feel bad for it, but every time I dream about them, and being not about them. Like, I don't mind if they're in my dream and we're out in public in the dream, but if I'm at their house in my dream, I snap. I go completely berserk mode. Like like no one's safe around me if that's a case scenario. Like, if I'm at their house in my dream, no, I'm not gonna allow them to ruin my dreams the same way as they ruined my past. That's why I have it in my mind. And I know it's a dream. I'm a lucid dreamer. I know when I'm having a dream. So all throughout this dream, I'm arguing with my family, like, take me back home, take me back home. I don't want to be here, take me back home. I said that probably 50 times in the dream, I swear to you. It was honestly getting annoying. I was being annoyed by myself for saying it so much. But and my family members, they just like didn't want to believe me. They were like, nah, they didn't explain why I was there. They weren't cooperating with me. So I became more and more violent with them until finally, they had no choice but to put me in a car. And when I thought they were taking me back home, that wasn't the case. Before I get too far ahead, let me explain how I got more violent before you think, oh man, he probably went on a psychopath. Not really. I slapped one person, that's what happened. And then that was just too much for them. They saw I was getting physical. So they had to take me out of their home. At least they're smart. Anyways, I'm in the car with my family member, right? I thought they were taking me back home. But they end up telling me, actually, I'm not going to take you back home. I'm taking you back to the psych ward. Man, that makes me blow my lid. I become so angry, I just shout no, as loud as I can. And then while I'm shouting no, a tornado starts to form. We're driving on like a highway or something. There's no other cars on the road, just us. And a tornado starts to form. And then, of course, that makes me stop yelling no. And honestly, it freaks me out because we're like it's forming right in front of us. Not even that, but it's forming above us. My family member had the car that had like a sunroof, so I could see it form above us. And I knew this is gonna suck. This is gonna pick up the car and fling us. That's what I knew. So what I did is like somehow I attached like a cat. I jumped up to the ceiling of the car, and well, the corner of the car, like near the window, and I was holding on to the ceiling. I was standing. I was basically standing in the car, but I was bracing myself. That way, in case the car flipped or got flung, I had a better chance of staying still. Of course, that's not the right idea to do. If you are in a car during a tornado, while a tornado's picking it up, the best thing to do is lock your knees. At least I think it is. I could be wrong, but this is what I learned when I was younger. You put your knees up against the dashboard if you're in the passenger seat, or if you're in the back seat, just put them up against the seat. If you're in the middle of the back seat, well, pray. But yeah, you put your knees up against that dashboard or against the seat, and you lock yourself in a little ball. That way, when the car starts to go flipping and tipping, you won't be flung around in that metal death trap that much. Anyways, as this tornado was forming, it was a big tornado too. I was like, this is not looking good. And it instantly, first, a giant cloud formed, and it spiraled down toward the car. But before it got halfway to the car, another spiral formed. It was a spiral of fire. It was a tornado fire, is what it was. It was half tornado, half wind, half fire. That freaked me out. Not only that, but electricity bolt started going through it. So it was a fire, electric, wind, tornado. And it smacked down on the top of the car. And it felt like it didn't pick up. That's a weird thing. It didn't pick up the car, didn't move the car at all. But what it did was it put pressure on the car. I started feeling it instantly, like we were getting pushed into the ground. Everything that was under that tornado. And I woke myself up before I could see what the outcome could be of that. I don't know. I didn't wake myself up actually this time. I tried like hell to wake myself up many times during this dream because I didn't want to be over there at the family member's house. I wanted to be at home. But for some reason, my lucid dream trick to wake myself up didn't work this time. And the only thing that did wake me up was a death in a dream. Man, I woke up and already I had this like kind of a small fear of like the reason why I don't have my driver's license is because yeah, I failed the test a couple times, the driving test. I didn't fail the written test. I'm like I know the rules of the road, but when it comes down to it, I get nervous behind the wheel because and I'm not nervous about how the way I drive. I'm nervous about how everyone else drives, you know. That's what's always in my mind. Like I hope no one hits the car or something like that. Even when I'm in the passenger seat, I'm thinking about that. I'm watching how others drive instead of how the person's driving the car that I'm in. Oof. So from that dream, I woke up and I had more of a fear of vehicles. I'm like, dang, those things are metal death traps for real, especially in a tornado scenario. So that was my dream, the fire electric tornado. It was like the Sharknado basically, but with fire and electricity. It was crazy. I guess you could call it the mega tornado. That's what I was thinking. That's what I would name it, the mega tornado. Never seen anything like it. It was like the twice the size of a regular big tornado. That was the scary part too. It filled the sky, man. Like like I knew once that thing formed, I knew there was no way that we could drive out from under it. And the worst part was when I looked over at my family member that was driving the car while this tornado was forming, they were gone. It was just me in the car. Why do I keep having these dreams about tornadoes and being in a car while being attacked by a tornado, you know? I hope that's not an outcome or something that I have to face in the future, I swear. I really hope not because if that happens, I don't think I could be in a car again after that. I really don't think so. Because already that dream right there, it boosted my fear to the point where I don't want to be in a car right now already. So if that does happen, it's obvious that that'll cause a phobia for me, the not use any land vehicles. I mean, other than a tank. I feel like I'd feel fine in a tank or a storm chaser car. I feel fine in those. I'm pretty sure. But if it was like a mega tornado, like in my dream, a tank or a storm chaser car is no chance against that kind of tornado. It would electrify the car. It would blow up the car, and for some reason, it pushes down the car. It just smashed. It just like like pushed it, like put so much force on it, turns into a pancake. It would have no chance. So that's my dream about the mega tornado I had last night. I know it's a short one. My bad, it's a short one, but what what can I do? I try to think of ways to like try to make it longer, but I'd rather just tell you all the truth of this dream. You know, what actually happened in the dream instead of adding it to it, because that the real dream itself was just. I'm pretty sure that's scary enough. Man, that was one crazy dream. And the crappy part about it is, I was this close about to fix my sleep schedule. This close. Like, if I didn't have that dream, I would have been able to smoke because I was having, like, whatever. I was having sweat withdrawals from tobacco. So I had to go have a smoke either way. But I was planning, like, to have a smoke and go back to sleep. But I kept thinking about more and more, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go back to sleep and give it some time. Because I don't. A lot of the time, if you want to continue a dream, you go back to sleep within the 30 minutes of having that dream, or 20 minutes. Actually, like 10 minutes, that'd be best if you want to go back to that current dream you're having. Now, it won't work all the time, but it does work a lot of the time. That's why I didn't go back to sleep. But I mean, I screwed up my sleep schedule, so I almost fixed it. I was I was one day away from fixing that sleep schedule, man. But I guess not yet. Not yet. So Tuesday, tomorrow, there's going to be a meteor passing Earth. They say we won't be able to see it, but they say it's like it's weird how they measured this. They said it's gonna be the size of 17 or 16 geese. And it's funny, the scientists said, you know, it's not gonna be like the geese, how the geese like leave all that poop on the ground, like making the Earth a green biodome, but it's just the size of geese. Like, okay. Like, don't forget how, and I think that's why they compared it to geese, it's just something that's worrisome and bothersome that the planet just has to deal with. Geese are, you people that love animals and never actually had interaction with a geese before. Oh my lord, you're lucky. You're lucky. Those things are mean as heck, and they're willing to fight. They're going to fight you. If you get too close to them, they stand up as tall as they can, and they let out their wings. And the biggest one does this out of the group. They usually they go in groups. But if they're alone, they usually don't do this. But if they're in a group, yeah, they will do this. They try to jump you is what they do. Geese, I hate geese. I hate geese. I don't like birds, and so geese are just giant birds to me that are basically gangsters of birds, let's be honest. That's my dream I had last night about geese. That's my camera tripod. I know, it's ghetto. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed that. Stay awesome, people. Keep being yourself. Peace out.